Welcome back to the Code Peterson YouTube channel. This is a tutorial we have this time about Adobe Character Animator. This is one I've never made a tutorial on before, but I've been creating a podcast called Tales of College Football. It's on Spotify. And I thought sometimes people are listening to a podcast and they want something to watch with it, not just listening to it or looking at the album art. So I thought, you know what? I would make an animated football where the football's talking and telling these stories, and some people have reached out and said, "How did you do that? And is it take a lot of time, especially with the short turnaround time for podcast episodes?" And the answer is, it's not too bad at all, especially with this Adobe Character Animator. So on here, you can see I'm in the program, and I'm just going to show you how I can import a puppet and bring in some audio and then animate it and sync it so that the animation goes with the audio. So they have all these puppets that are on here. Because I have a Creative Cloud subscription, I can get more on the website, on their resources that they have. So I'm going to go here to import puppet. And this one I'm going to use for an example is a baseball example. It's nice out. It's baseball season just about. We're in spring baseball anyways. And the baseball puppet they have is this called Buddy version 9. I'm going to click on that, and then it gives me this character on here. And as you can see, I have my webcam on up here, and that's how I'm mapping this. So it's kind of like motion sensor. So if I move in my seat, the character moves. That's pretty cool. You can kind of move up and down and do that. If I move my mouth, it can read that also. So you can do that. If I want to blink, I can do that. If I can raise my eyebrows, and it can read all of that also. Pretty cool. So if you wanted to, you could import and record your speech at the same time. But typically, if people are doing that, they're going to be reading it and you're not like blinking. You kind of want to be thinking, how can I do this where the character looks animated and it's not just standing there with the eyes open the whole entire time. So to me, it's easier if I record it ahead of time. And then when I go through, I can record the face and movements and all of that. And then it, it just works a little bit easier and you're not trying to think of too many things at once. So I will go here to import recorded speech. This is in my downloads folder and I called this baseball audio test. And you can see here it has the audio there. And basically, I just made a little kind of made up on the spot intro for a baseball podcast type thing. So when I'm ready to do that, I will go click record face, and then you'll kind of see how I'll move that around, and we'll see how we can get this to work. Let's go ahead and get started. And it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out in the old ball game. This is the seventh inning podcast, and I'm your host, Brandon Peterson. All right, click finish recording, and let's see how this looks on here. So I could have gone back and re-edited multiple times, but just for the sake of time, you kind of get the idea of how that part of the process works. And it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out in the old ball game. This is the seventh inning podcast, and I'm your host, Brandon Peterson. All right, that isn't terrible. So again, it's not perfect. I would probably go back and redo that if I was trying to get this real perfect. But then I can move this to the cursors here, and then I can go like bring these hand positions like this onto the timeline. And then I can make that longer. So then when we go here, it's like, and it's 1. I'll bring maybe the baseball mitt on this side. 2. Then we'll go back to the other hand again. 3 strikes, you're out in the old ball game. This is the seventh inning podcast, and I'm your host. Maybe right here, I'll go with like the thumbs out. let's see how this looks now. Those animations. And it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out in the old ball game. This is the seventh inning podcast, and I'm your host, Brandon Peterson. All right. I kept looking up while I was doing that. So it's something where you kind of need to play around with that, like with the height of the camera. Obviously, I had a hat on right now and I have my headset on. And typically, I'm not going to have a headset on or these things like covering my face while I'm doing this, but I needed my headset on so I could record my voice while I was doing this tutorial. But all those things can kind of have an impact. But just for a few seconds here, we were able to record that and add some other key animation parts into this. With the ultimate ease, like very easy. So now I'm going to go up here to File. I'll go to Export and Export. And then I'll go here to my Downloads folder. And then I'm just going to call this Animated Baseball Video File. Click Save. And then you can choose if you want it to be what quality, high, medium, or low, but I'll leave it at high to export. And it brings it here into the Downloads folder. So I'm going to open this up and we will see how well this works. And it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out in the old ball game. This is the seventh inning podcast, and I'm your host, Brandon Peterson. All right, and there we go. So you see the process, really easy. Basically, all you need is some way to record audio, whether it be you recording live into your computer or you record it ahead of time and then import it. You need a webcam that you can use, and then just Adobe Character Animator where you can bring it in there and maybe you're going to do 3 or 4 takes at most probably, and it does a pretty good job of syncing the mouth to the words, and then you can kind of add the other character to it of the animation, the posture and the movements, all that kind of. But as you can see, it is really easy to use, and it is a nice uh, feature, and especially if you're trying to look to do something fun with animation and just switch up your multimedia and storytelling a little bit. So, as always, I really thank you to those who sent out the message asking how to do the animations. So that was a great idea for a tutorial. I'm glad you did that. Let me know if this helps with that or if you have some other ideas. If you've been using this program and you've created your own puppets, I'd love to know the process about that because that's probably something I would start doing next. And as always, really thank you so much for watching. And I sure hope we catch you on another video down the road.